What's going on, cryptocurrency universe? It's the Bitcoin miner, guys. I hope everybody's doing well. Today, in the dungeon, if you will, we're going to discuss cables and why the cable you choose actually matters, especially when we're talking about scale. So, as you guys know, I've done a lot with cell phones. We've been working on those a lot. I need to get over there and try to get you guys really updated on the cell phones. But at the house, it's easy enough for me to work with these pies. So I've been playing a lot with orange pies lately, and really trying to come up with a plan to figure out how much we can get orange pies into like a server case like this. What kind of density can you get in there, and so forth. And during that whole process, I wanted to test it because we had a lot of problems with the phone. So I'm trying to speak from experience here, if you will. These were the phone cables that well, not sure if it's exactly these, but they're just like these. We ordered these from eBay. Believe it or not, these are from two different sellers. They looked different, had different descriptions, but when they arrive, you basically get the exact same thing, which you'll see a lot of even when we go into Amazon and some other places. First thing off, guys, don't bother buying the cheap cables from Amazon or from eBay. I'm going to show you through the testing where I think you might be able to spend a little bit more and get a little bit better cable. Like I said, we wind up switching these things out, so you wind up paying the same amount because we do 2 for 1 for by the time the life of it. They don't seem to last for whatever reason. Not always, but it depends on your situation, the heat, how they're moved and wired, and so forth. So in this testing, really what I'm looking for is the resistance. So the thought is let's just say that we can get 100 pies into a server case like this. And if there is a major difference from the resistance, I'm going to keep the video as short as possible. I'm not going to go through and actually show you guys a pie running and give you all the examples. It's just kind of give you straight to the answers and get you everything we need. But what it boils down to is, unfortunately, it seems to you seem to pay for what you get. There is some middle roads in there, and I'll show you what those are. And the other big thing is you can see here, there's a stack of 1, 2, 3. These are all different sellers. And I got the exact same cable. And they had different descriptions, pictures, the whole nine, but I wind up getting the exact same cable. Same thing happened with this guy over here. This brand I had 2 of them here, so this one never even got opened. But they were just different descriptions, and they kind of fooled me in the sense that I thought they were different cables. So it is what it is. And then there's of course this other one here, and then these guys, these smiley faces. I almost didn't order these just because of the silly name, but Smile Electronics, hey, and the face on it. But it is what it is. Believe it or not, these turned out to be the best, long story short. And I'll put all of this information in the description. I'll put links down there and kind of make it really simple as a recap. So I'll say these were good, bad, and whatnot. And ultimately, what we're doing is looking for resistance. So within this test, I used 6-foot cables mostly, but I also ordered 3-foot cables, and I did not see any significant difference between a 6-foot cable and a 3-foot cable. So I chose to go with 6-foot just for convenience and routing purposes. The way these was tested was using this kilowatt meter over here. What was happening is you had a single orange pie, not a rack, but a single orange pie plugged in, and we basically watched the wattage of what it used for a period of time and kind of recorded it, and then made an average out of that. And so as we go into it, we're going to start from the worst down to the best. The worst were the ones from eBay. These things took over the best. Well, maybe we need to start with the best for some context, which was actually these cables here. Now, your wattage will vary based on the power supplies that you are chosen. The power supplies this example is based on these Sabrith power supplies. I think a lot of people are using the 10-port 60 watts. So this is using right about 9 watts, just a direct wall. So these orange pies do draw about a little over 8 watts, but you have to start now factoring, I'm saying, at the wall. There's other things that are drawing extra power. There's power loss in the bricks and some other stuff, and plus there's LED lights on there, so it's starting at 9 watts for a single one. But once you start scaling it, it will scale down. Just to kind of give you an example, they produce 7 mega hashes on Veris at about 8 watts, 8.2 watts. Now, the cable that you use is going to matter because these actually have gold tipped on them. They are about $4 a piece. They are the most expensive cable out of the bunch, but they're right at 9 watts. These are the cheapest cables out of the bunch. These came from eBay, not Amazon. It's the only ones from eBay, because it's the best place to really try to find the super cheap ones. I think they were probably about, maybe $1, 80 cents, 90 cents a piece by the time you bought, depending on how many you buy and so forth. But those, as an example, were 9.8 watts. So it's a whole 0.8 watts. So as an example, in this case, if we were to run 100 orange pies, that would be an extra 80 watts. So just by choosing this cable, which is only 3 foot, which makes wiring it even tougher, a whole 80 watts extra, just because of that. Now, again, if you're not scaling it, it's not going to matter as much, and of course price might matter to you as well, but it has a lot to do with the resistance of the cable and the quality of the cables and the connections. Now, of course, I'm going to give you the medium road. Now, all of these other cables, this one as an example, was okay. I think it was right around 9.4 was pretty much the average. This one was 9.4. This one was horrible. These were $2 a piece. This one was $2 a piece. I'll put links down at the bottom again. This one was horrible too. It was right at like 9.7, so it was just a little bit better than the super cheap ones. These were pretty expensive. They were $3.50 a piece, and they are by the same manufacturer, as you can tell, as this one up here, the mirror glass versus the I don't know what name they are, but I'll put the link down there. But you can tell that these don't have the gold tipped. They are almost identical in the strapping system that they used. So it's definitely the same manufacturer. The cable width is the same. That's another thing that you'll notice, the diameter of the cable, where this cable is thicker than this one. And it's really obvious. So you want to find one that's got a thicker diameter. So I'm trying to do all the homework and help share the knowledge as I've been learning this stuff as we've been going. And then, of course, this one. So, I mean, for the money, these were right around $2, maybe $2.50. Again, I'll put the link down. But if you don't need an angled head, so one of these angled heads, this is the best option. The Smile Electronics. They're $2 a piece. You can get them at 6 foot, multiple lengths, multiple different packs. They were right at 9.3. So the resistance was really good. And I would have chose those, but I really need the angle head to get the density into the case. So I am considering them. These, again, for maybe 50 cents cheaper. I am strongly considering the more expensive ones, the $4 ones. You can also tell from the quality of the packing, the way that they chose to do them differently. This probably is a sign of the components used. So, all right. Thanks, guys. And the last few follow thoughts is I also tested some 10-foot cables, and the resistance goes way up. Even on the better cables, you're getting around 9.5, I think, on this one, 9.4, and the other average was like 9.7, 9.8. So if you can go with 6 foot, that's your best bet. Really not much difference between 6 and 3 foot. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you hanging out and watching this video. Stay tuned. Next, we're going to talk about heat sinks and cooling these pies. I went ahead and ordered about every type of heat sink I could. I've been testing them in every different type of scenario, trying to figure out the best, most efficient way to cool them and the other options. So we'll cover that again. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon.